But in the immediate term, we're going to be talking about attracting young people into the industry. And this has been sponsored by the Federation of British Historic Vehicle Clubs, and they have an apprenticeship in historic vehicle restoration. So please put your hands together for David Whale, who's the chairman of the FBHVC, and Claire Serrell, who is a former apprentice who is now working in the JLR Engineering Development Department. So give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So look, the big challenge we have in this industry is attracting young blood, isn't it? And I'll come on to you in a minute, Claire. But David, how are we going to resolve that?
So I think, you know, government's helping quite a lot, because there's a renewed attraction to apprenticeships, and that's really the start point for all of us.
We have supported this hobby for ages and ages and ages because we're all boys and we love these old cars, we grew up with them. But it's got to be handed down and it's got to be continued, and we have to have young people in it. And for some reason, and you can tell me why in a minute, Claire, they don't see this as an exciting or a glamorous career. But you have started as a former apprentice and now are working for Jaguar Land Rover, the most exciting and dynamic car company in the world. So I guess I really want to hear why you've gone down this path and how it's all magically happened for you.
When I was of school leaving age, my school pushed university. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to work. I wanted to earn money, and I'm big into classic cars, grew up in the classic car scene, wanted a job involving cars. So I thought, where better to work than Jaguar? So I looked into there, went on their website, found out that they had an apprenticeship scheme running, applied for it, luckily got in. In my year there was only 18 of us, so it's very small. And from there I did the 4-year apprenticeship, and I've ended up in an incredible job role, absolutely incredible job role. So yeah, very lucky.
And what is it about young people who don't see this industry as exciting? Because you clearly do.
I don't know, I think it might be something to do with schools. I think they tend to say you need to go to university and do an office job, and that's you've made it if you've done that. Whereas I don't believe that. I think it's I'm quite proud of what I do.
Absolutely.
I'm proud to be on the tools, and I think it's a brilliant job role. And I think now apprenticeships are being, I don't know, more widely sought after and more widely thought of. It's starting to get more impressive.
Yeah, and the university degree, there are so many of them. They all got degrees in media studies and business, and actually people want employees that have got a skill and a craft and experience.
Having a degree used to mean a lot more than it does now. I'm finding that from talking to people within the company I work for. A lot of the managers are saying, these people may have a degree, but they're no use to me because they've got no experience, no job experience. They're not suitable for the jobs.
Okay. If you could just hand the mic back to David. So David, how is all this funded?
Essentially by government. So we've been through a process over the last 12 months, actually in the first place to establish that there was a need for a formal apprenticeship in historic vehicle restoration. And what we did was we conducted research with the top 100 restoration companies in the UK. Sort of about 80 specialising in cars and about 20 in motorcycles. And what that established was that there was a need for just over 900 new apprentices in the next 5 years. What that does then is it gives you the opportunity to make a formal application to Ofqual for accreditation of this apprenticeship in historic vehicle restoration. Once you get that Ofqual accreditation, basically it means 16, 17-year-olds are totally funded for the college course.
So let me just stop you. So if you are a 16 or 17-year-old, or the parents of a 16 or 17-year-old, you can go and get funding for that apprenticeship from the government.
absolutely.
And how much would that be, and how long would it take?
So the course is split into 2 levels. So level 2 is 18 to 24 months. And that's basically an appreciation of all of the individual key aspects of historic vehicle restoration. Probably quite a lot of the material that Claire actually did in her role.
So you can set points. Oh, come on, Claire. Everybody's... You can. But all these old skills are really important.
Yes, very important. Those sort of skills weren't taught on my apprenticeship, but yeah, it's going to give you your basic engineering appreciation in those 2 years.
And then, so once you've acquired the level 2 qualification, you then have the option to go on to level 3, where you get more specialised. So you might decide you want to specialise in mechanical work, or trim, or body, or paint, and that's the second stage of the development.
And what sort of funding do you get in terms of, give me an amount? They pay how much per week?
Well, basically you sign, so there's 2 ways of approaching this, and what's called an extended learning route, or an apprenticeship. And initially for this first year, we thought most people would go down the extended learning route. What that means is, if you're a student and you're 16-year-old, extended learning allows you to leave school and go to college and start the program. At college, you'll do the theory, you'll do the practical. You then need to find an employer
who will sponsor you
to give you the opportunity to do the competence thing. That's actually what we thought would happen in these early stages. Banbury and Bicester College, who are running the first course now, actually worked really hard with young people. And at our launch event on the 24th of June, they invited about 10 or 12 potential students to that course. We also invited quite a lot of employers. We actually had employers talking to potential students during that launch event. One person got offered a job 2 days later as an apprentice.
Great.
And how that's evolved, Banbury and Bicester College are running the first course, and they've got 10 apprentices on it. So that's 10 people who actually are now in employment and are working part day release at college and spending some time with their employer.
And people don't understand how important the restoration industry is. You look around this show and you see the incredibly high standard of all these cars. That's becoming very expensive, £100 an hour, £150 an hour for some of the highest specialists. So there's a lot of money in this industry. The whole classic car industry in the UK is worth, you worked it out as, was it £4.5 billion a year?
4.3 billion.
I bet it's 5 to 6 billion.
Of course.
You know,
yeah,
massive amount of money, and that's a big slice of the UK GDP, 5 billion quid. So it's not something that you should think about as a cottage industry. It's really booming, and you get to work on all these fabulously sexy cars. I mean, I've been over at the Jaguar stand. There's a Jaguar XK150S convertible. £400,000 that car is worth now. Yeah. So you see high net worth individuals. You see, you know, where you have to go to different countries to look after people's cars. So it's becoming really hot and really glamorous. And if, like Claire, you're so lucky to be able to work for the most successful and the most admired car company on the planet, which is Jaguar Land Rover, it's a dream job, isn't it?
No, it really is. It really is a dream job. I'm so proud to say I work for them. And the opportunities I've had with them, the training is unbelievable. I can do anything. I can drive a forklift truck, I can work on hybrid electric vehicles, you name it. I've got air conditioning licenses.
Can you update the software on my Range Rover? Probably. Good, okay. So what do we need to do as an industry to get people to really start to understand how good this classic car world is for an apprentice?
So I think we need to communicate the opportunity. You know, you're absolutely right in talking about the industry being worth $5 billion. We've had people approach us during the course of the show. There's actually a young man sitting over there with his father who's currently 15 and just can't wait to get stuck in to this course. So it's about communication, it's about letting people know that the programs exist. We as a federation, we've got 2 colleges offering the program at the moment. We need to increase the regional spread of that for September 2015 intake. We've even got 1 college talking about a bespoke motorcycle course.
And this is our future, isn't it? This is the future of this industry, and we need to do everything we can to encourage younger people in there, get these skills that you and I know, which will be lost, because it's all technical modern stuff, it's all software based, and talking about things like points and plug gaps and all the old stuff, we need to know about it, and lead loading, and you know, it is sad but true, fascinating, and it needs to be protected and preserved.
Absolutely. You know, I was talking to a mini specialist probably 4 months ago, and this chap was telling me that he's desperately trying to recruit new people into his business. He'd solved his problem. He'd recruited a 59-year-old and a 61-year-old.
I know it's the same. My local garage who look after all my cars, they're really, really great, but 2 blokes, one is 68 and the other one is 59, and you know, they desperately want new people, but they really struggle. They put an ad in the paper, they go to the job centre and put the ads there, and they just, as you say, get people our age, which is no good. You do need these 16, 17, 18-year-olds to learn the craft, because it is a craft.
Absolutely. So Federation website has a bespoke section on apprenticeship, and Claire actually volunteered to set up our social media site for apprenticeship as well.
So what are the URLs or the Twitter hashtags for that?
Twitter is FBHVC Apprentice.
Good.
The Facebook is Historic Vehicle Apprenticeship, and so is the Instagram.
And what's the site, the website?
That's Facebook and Instagram.
But your URL for the website?
Is FBHVC/apprentice.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for David and Claire. Thank you very much. Great. And a worthy cause. And congratulations, Claire. Brilliant.